Hey guys, the Nollywood film Yahoo Plus just got on Netflix recently, and the video you're about to watch is an interview I had with the writer, producer, director of the film, Ebuka Njoku. This interview was done a year ago in July of 2022, just before a screening of the movie at my friend Demi's house. Ebuka and I thought it would be a good idea to sit down and talk about the film, but that day was quite challenging. It was a very rainy day. It rained like no man's business that day, and the elements really dealt with myself and Ebuka as we individually made our way to Demi's house that Saturday afternoon. But I'm happy that in spite of that, we were able to get a decent, albeit somewhat shabby interview out of the experience. I hope you enjoyed the interview as much as you enjoyed Yahoo Plus, if you've seen it and if you enjoyed it. And without further ado, here is my interview from 2022 with the director of Yahoo Plus, Ebuka Njoku. Enjoy. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. As you know, I have another channel where I talk about personal finance. On this channel, I review movies. But today is a bit different and special because today I have a maker of a film. In fact, the last film that I reviewed on this channel, Yahoo Plus, I have the director with me, the one and only Ebuka Njoku. Ebuka, how are you doing?
Very fine.
Okay. It's been a struggle, guys. Maybe another day, or maybe on my Instagram, I'll tell you guys the story of how this interview came about. But it's been a wild day. It's been raining. It's been raining all week in Lagos, and today was no different. But let me just leave it at that. It's been a struggle to get this interview happening, but we're here now, and I'm glad Ebuka is here, and I can't wait to talk about his film that's in cinemas currently, Yahoo Plus. Before we dive into the film, Ebuka, let me ask you about your background. Where did you grow up, and before you're a filmmaker, what were you doing, or have you always been a filmmaker? Just tell us a little bit about yourself, particularly your background, occupation-wise, and what led you to this point of being a filmmaker.
I was born in Abwani, the outskirts of Enugu,
Okay.
Enugu State.
Right.
Then I think when I was about 4 or 5, my parents moved to Oka, Anambra State. So I had my primary, secondary school and all that there. Then for my university education, I went to UNN.
In Suka?
Yes.
Okay.
I've always loved films. I've always loved films, so I can still remember the first time watching Ijele, Oganigwe, and Titanic. It's why I can't forget that because I watched it in my landlord's parlor with a couple of teenage girls. They were older than me. I was a kid then.
Were you the only boy in the room? You're the only guy. The other guys?
There was one other guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and at a point, all the girls were crying, and the guy was forming hard man. The reason I couldn't, I wasn't really understanding the film. But at a point, I started crying. So I think those were the early days that they kind of made me know that someday I might venture into this. But as a guy growing up in Oka, you can't have that kind of dream.
Yeah.
So I started writing from fiction to poetry, then plays. So I wanted to be like Shoyinka basically. Because that was closer to what I felt I could be.
What were you studying in UNN?
I studied theater arts.
Theater arts.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess that's much. Okay, so now let's talk about your film Yahoo Plus that came out July 1st, 2022. A very special date. The second half of the year. So it's a film about two young men. I'm thinking maybe should I let you give a summary? Let me let you give a summary of the film because I wouldn't do it justice the way you would. All right, so tell us just a little bit about Yahoo Plus, your movie.
Yahoo Plus is basically about a failed Yahoo Plus ritual plan. Like they had a perfect plan, then something else happened and everything went badly. So the two friends.
Don't give too much away because you guys still need to go and watch it, whether it's on streaming or in cinemas. You need to watch it. Carry on.
Yeah, so everything went badly to a point where it became a struggle of life or death. So some die, some live.
Okay, awesome. You filmed the movie in Enugu.
Yeah.
Why Enugu? Is that all the actors, were they based there? Was it just out of convenience, or there was something that's Enugu, brought to the movie?
Okay. Personally, Enugu feels more like home to me than many places. Enugu and Oka feels more like home to me than any other place I've lived. In fact, even I've stayed in Lagos for 4 years straight, and Lagos still feels like a hotel room to me. Sorry about that. I love Lagos, but
there's no place like home,
Yeah, and it's when the story came, it came as a story that is set in Enugu, even though I could have shot it anywhere and you wouldn't know. So I felt shooting it in Enugu would make it feel more like home. There are certain things about a film that you don't see but helps in making the story authentic. Yeah. Then added to the fact that some of the cast lived in the east, so I felt Enugu, budget-wise and all that, Enugu was also better for me.
Right.
Yeah.
So logistically too, you'd say it was more beneficial than shooting in maybe Lagos or Abuja?
Yeah, logistic-wise, Enugu
was better.
Yeah.
Okay. You mentioned the cast. Let's talk about your cast.
Okay.
Fantastic cast, by the way.
Thank
and that's another thing I love this film. For those of you who haven't seen my review of the movie, it's my second favorite movie of 2022 thus far. And one of the things I liked about it was it introduced me to some fantastic actors. Kizito, who played Ose, Somadina, who played Abacha, the lady that played Kamso, Lillian Echelon, and who else? And then Pino, and even Eric, Ken Eriks, who is forgive me, in the comments of the review, see people telling me that you don't know Ken Eriks, you don't know I say sorry, it's one day they used to know somebody. Yeah. Ken Eriks is a big deal apparently, but I was introduced to all those actors, and then the gentleman who played Emansa. What's his name again?
Lorenzo Menaka.
Lorenzo.
He also produced the film with
me. Really?
Yes.
So I mean, now I know their names, and I was that moved, and now I'm like looking forward to their next projects. What informed the casting of each of these actors, or maybe 2 or 3 of them, if you wanted to talk about? Since there are few, you can talk about all of them. But let's start with Kizito and Somadina.
Okay.
What informed your decision to cast those 2 actors?
Okay. First of all, when I wanted to make the film, the first budget was 1.something million.
Okay.
So first of all, I wanted to use actors that I could afford with that.
Within your budget.
Yes. Kizito has always been my guy.
Okay.
So I wrote that role
with him in
mind. Then I had one other guy that was meant to play with him. Then we had some.
He didn't work out.
He didn't work out basically.
That was meant to play Somadina's character.
Yes. He was actually meant to play, because when I showed Kizito the script, he felt if he was going to act with that guy, he would be better off playing Abacha.
Abacha.
While the guy would play Ose.
Oh.
So when the guy couldn't work out, we started looking for other alternatives. The closer we get to shooting, the more I felt like Kizito would do better as Ose. Then at the point, Somadina came in. So once Somadina came in, I told myself, man, Kizito should play Ose, while Somadina plays Abacha.
Ooh,
you get so,
okay.
And when we went on set, I thank God I made that decision.
You guys killed it. Yeah. When was this film shot? What year?
Last year, April.
Like a little over a year ago.
Yes.
Was it a struggle or it was seamless? Because your locations went many, and that's something that a lot of people notice when they watch the film. I don't want to give away too much, but they didn't shoot or film in too many locations. Yeah. So one would think that because of that, there's not too much movement, everything will flow smoothly. Yeah. Was that the case? And how many days or weeks are we looking at? Probably days anyway.
We shot with 6 days, but it's my first feature, so I try to make the burdens easier for me. That's why I chose a story that required only few actors and all that. But then Enugu has its challenges. First of all, the house where we plan to shoot it, a couple that came back to Nigeria for whatever reason rented it for like a month. So it was a few days to shooting. We are told that we can no longer use that house apartment. So we started looking for other alternatives. The role that Ken Eriks played, he wasn't the person I had in mind
to play.
Yes.
What's his character's name again?
Ikolo.
Mm-hmm.
So when we started shooting, there was still no Ikolo.
Wow.
You get. So it was like the last option. And to be honest with you, when I wasn't feeling so strong about him playing it. Yes, until he came on set, and then there was this scene that he's meant to pick up a gun. So the way he picked up the gun, like, felt like this is the way an Ikolo would pick up a gun. That was when I said, man,
this is for the job.
Yes. So, but then it wasn't still 100% for me until we started editing. That was like, guy, who else could have done this shit?
Yeah.
You get.
And his dialogue in the film, everybody's dialogue was on point, but Ken Eric's dialogue, and he had a lot of lines, and there's scenes where he's explaining things, and that scene, because I went to go and see it the second time with a friend of mine, and she said, this guy is really good, and it was because he was giving a lot of context to what was happening in the film. So he was kind of like a glue, that was bringing so much together.
And he naturally brought in that mentor thing that the character
needed.
Yes. So it because that was Kizito's first feature.
Right.
Yeah. So it just gelled, like
it did.
I was very stupid for not thinking
about it. Hey, sometimes things happen just magically sometimes. So that it won't be said that we sidelined the women. Let's talk about the casting of the ladies too. Your female actors. That's Ifeoma Obinwa and Echelon Mbadiwe. So let's start with. So who was cast first?
Ifeoma Obinwa.
Okay, really, Pino.
Yes.
Okay.
I first saw her on IG. I was like, this girl looks interesting. Let me check out her page, and discovered that she was an actress.
Oh wow, okay. So you didn't know initially? I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah. So I started following her. Then I saw a couple of the films she's been in. I'm like, this person has to work with me at the point. Okay. So luckily for me, Lorenzo, the guy that produced with me,
knew
her. So it was easy to cast her. Then when we started looking for someone to complement her, we thought of someone else initially. Then at the point, Lorenzo suggested Echelon, and I'd seen Echelon in Black Rose.
Right.
Yeah, and I felt, wow, why didn't I think of that? So we spoke to her. She loved the script, and then she came on board. Okay.
So it sounds like Lorenzo was on board from the onset.
Yes.
You said he was a producer.
Yes, he produced with me.
Okay.
So it's this film wouldn't have been possible without Lorenzo. So because he made getting the actors very much easier, because I don't have as much connect as he does. So he made things way easier for us.
Okay, awesome. Okay, we've talked about the actors now. Ebuka, tell me about the gear and the equipment that you used to film this movie. I know you've seen my review, and it makes me feel bad when I talk about the film wasn't really filmed in like the topmost quality and everything, but I was really willing to overlook it because the story was so powerful. But I'm curious, what kind of equipment was at your disposal when making this film?
Okay, we got Black Magic, but unluckily for us, they sent us a very old camera.
Really?
We wanted to move the camera a lot because I'm a Steven Spielberg fan.
Right.
I love how
motion.
Yes,
he incorporates motion.
Yes. So I wanted to do that in Yahoo Plus, but unluckily for us, the camera they sent was too old. You move it a bit and it will go off. Then the track, another story. Like it takes a lot to set up because it's rusty and all that. I move it and it was jerky.
Right.
Then the light they also sent, we are not like it felt so. We just had to work with
what you had.
Yes, that's like the process probably taught me that sometimes cheap is actually costly at the end of the day.
At the end of the day,
trying to save cost and so, but.
We thank God.
We did it.
We thank God. So I think that takes me to my next question. What would you have done differently if you could turn back the hands of time? One or two things that you'd have thought. I know you wouldn't have changed your cast because your cast was perfect.
Oh no,
your location to us. So was there anything that you'd have changed?
I would have.
Would you have filmed with another camera or still Black Magic, but a more reliable one?
Yes, a more reliable. I would have probably given out a couple of days to check the equipment, to be sure of the equipment before shooting, and not. Then I would have begged the EP to add at least an extra 1M to the budget.
For what? Oh, for just for general.
At least for equipment.
Right?
For,
okay. Okay.
And all that. I mean, if I show you where I slept when we were shooting,
really,
you don't believe it.
Director. Well, it's better that the director and the producers and they suffer and let the talents let them have a good time. Because afterwards it will be the other way around. You understand? Exactly. Okay, now, so let's talk about, I want to ask you rather, about the reception of this film. I know I've been, gaga about the film, as you know. This is the second week now, but the first week, I mean, I don't think there was a day that I didn't post it on my Insta stories that people should go and see this film. So I know myself and my friend Demi, who, you've met now, I know we've been going on about the film, but what's the reception been like, from what you've heard, what you've seen about this film, Yahoo Plus?
I think we've gotten more than 10 reviews so far.
Okay.
I think only 2 are negative. So it's part of not being, when you're just shooting shots and you can easily say things about other people's film until now I've made my own. It's there.
So now you are the
people are saying things about mine.
Your film. So
it's scary, and to an extent it's thickening my skin more, and it's making me realize that I wasn't as great a filmmaker as I thought I was. So I have to do more work. The past couple of days or weeks has been, I don't know, I've been living in this, I can't really explain.
A different universe.
Because on one hand, I'm trying to see how this goes. On the other hand, I'm thinking of my next project. Would it be possible to make what I want to make, or would I have to do something else while waiting for enough funds and all that? So but I really thank God for people like you who, keep pushing the film. Then there's this guy I met on Twitter, Dika, that has been saying lots of good things about the film. So a lot of people, some people will just chat me up. I'm like, I saw your film, I like it, or someone will just want to advise me, and I find that strange and weird, but at the same time very comforting, because it really shows that some people understand the angle I'm coming from. So it's been a lot, but the good parts beats the
bad,
the negative part. So I just can't wait to do
your next project,
and, to show people that I have actually better things to give.
And it's also very good that you're a writer director, because you're not necessarily waiting for a good script. You have scripts within you, and you know how you want to film. And I think it's part of what made this film Yahoo Plus so awesome. The fact that it was largely your idea, your concept, you knew how you wanted to do it. It was so different from, like I said in my review, what we're accustomed to. And the dialogue, I think, is one of the real strengths of the movie. They weren't talking like they are running lines. They were talking like, they're like we're talking now, like they are gisting. And, when you put in the pidgin and the Igbo with it, I think that's what really made it unique. That's what made it stand out from, everyone I know who has seen it, and the observation, and even the reviews on Twitter and other places that I've heard or read from others. Everyone talks about how different it is, and they always mention the dialogue. So kudos to you on that. I've told you one or two things about it. Don't be too hard on yourself. Everything you're going through, I think every filmmaker, I wouldn't know, but I assume that every filmmaker has gone through as well, taking the good and the bad. And let me say this too, there's also reviews, I think, are important, because I did see one very popular reviewer's remark about your film. The day, let's say I watched your movie in the late afternoon. In the early afternoon, I saw a negative review. And I already had a bad mind about your movie, to be honest. Wow. And then I went in and I watched this film. I'm like, is this the same film that that person said is this and that and this? And in the evening, I made that post on Instagram that you saw. Demi saw it, and he said, yes, I'm with you. You are not running mad. That film was the bomb. So I think, there is a place for reviewing and, just acknowledging different opinions, because not everybody will like it, not everybody will hate it. Any project, not just your film, not just any project. Finally, Ebuka, streaming, and because in the comments of the review of Yahoo Plus, when is it coming on Netflix? Is it on Netflix? When is it going to be on streaming? Can you got all those questions? What are your plans, for taking it to the rest of the world?
Okay, I don't want to Yeah, speaking to one or two persons, but then I'm not rushing the conversation about streaming for now until we are done with the cinema round. So I know what to expect and what
where to place yourself
exactly
or your project.
So, but it's going to happen from the figures I've seen.
Right.
It's not bad for a film that had no promotion. We didn't actually promote the film. We didn't do a premiere, and so I feel it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. Yeah.
Okay. Well, please just make sure you get a very sweet deal, because the film is worth a very sweet deal. And when it gets on, and because I see it time and again when a film comes out in the cinema, even when it's the big films with all the big stars, when it comes out in cinema, it does well. But when it gets on streaming, particularly the popular streaming ones, it's on a global scale. It's another level, So I really hope that once Yahoo Plus gets on a very good streaming platform or whatever streaming platform, that it just really does fantastic numbers, and people around the world, a lot of people, my subscribers, people watch my reviews, and everyone else can appreciate it the way I've appreciated it, and so many other people have enjoyed it. Thank you so much, Ebuka, the director of Yahoo Plus. I didn't expect to be this excited about. This is the first director I'm interviewing, and I didn't expect to be more excited than this. Well, between me, you, and the people watching, not every filmmaker is as cool as you. Let me leave it at that. On the final note, Ebuka, is there anything you want to say, to people watching about the movie, or just generally,
Okay.
It's in cinemas now. Go and watch it. Currently, well, it depends on when you're watching this, but when we're filming this, it's still in cinemas nationwide in Nigeria. So we want you to know that. But is there anything else you want people to know? Other aspiring filmmakers, people in the industry, audience members?
Okay. To aspiring filmmakers, the only thing I can say is, don't wait till you have the world to make your film. Just go there and make it. If I can make a feature, any motherfucker in this world can. Then to those people who've seen it, who love it, I can only say that they should wait for more, because I can't let them down. I can only give more. To those who didn't like it, I hope you like the next stuff I'm working on, because I can only get better, and I'm not taking the negative reviews as
anything personal.
So it's a call to do better. So my promise is, we grew up with bad government and lots of terrible things in the country. So I feel my generation deserves, if they don't get any other thing, they deserve quality entertainment, quality films, and I also believe that Nollywood and Nigerian media is the greatest hope of the black man. So I promise to make films that will take us there. So basically,
Ebuka Njoku, the director of Yahoo Plus, thank you so much. It's been an honor, for me to interview the director of a movie and the writer of a film that I so much enjoyed. So close to its release, it came out like 2 weeks ago. So thank you so much, Ebuka. I wish you all the best in the cinema run, because it's still in cinemas once again, guys. And most especially, I hope it gets on the streaming platform so that everyone around the world can see this awesome movie, Yahoo Plus. Ebuka, cheers. All the best for the future.
A pleasure. Thanks a lot for inviting me. I really, really appreciate it.
No, Chief. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the interview with Ebuka Njoku. Have you seen Yahoo Plus? I really hope you have, because if you haven't, this interview may have ruined a few things for you. But it was an interesting experience. Thanks once again, Ebuka, for the opportunity, and thanks, Demi, for hosting us and making your space available for us to have the interview. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please like it by clicking on the like button, and subscribe to my channel as well by clicking on the black subscribe button. You doing those things really help me, this video, and my channel a great deal. Thanks if you've done those things, and I guess I'll catch you guys in my next video. Take care.